There we go. Got it. Okay. Welcome to episode 62 of the podcast. And as always, it's Spoon and I. So, Spoon, how are you doing today?
Doing all right.
Good. All right. Let's get right into it. We actually have more news than we thought. Thank God is all I have to say. We had like two things yesterday, and it more than doubled. So I'm very excited about that, actually. Mostly good things. Mostly good things. But I'm very happy for that because we had less material for after the news than we had for like some of the previous weeks with some new releases. But let's do a quick update on our introduction side. So let's get a couple things out of the way first. First and foremost, on the week of April 25th, so on April 28th, we will be taking a week off from the podcast.
Yep.
Spoon and I had a discussion. He's got an exam the following week, and I do too.
On Monday, on May 2nd, which is the next Monday.
Right. So both of us have decided to just take that week off. So obviously we have today, next week, and the 21st, and then that following week, the last week of the month, we'll be taking off for some rest, but also focus on other things. But after that week, both of us will be hopefully done with our exams and things, and we move on to different stuff. But that's one thing. Thing number two, be sure to keep supporting us on YouTube and Twitch and all that stuff. And if you do come into Twitch, say hello. Just give a wave or something. Say hi.
Yep.
It's always nice to see someone say hi. So
just give us a hi or a hey guys emote,
give
or
me a
whatever
hi,
or whatever your favorite introductory emote might be.
Give me a middle finger
or an auto lick it.
Or an auto lick it.
Yeah.
Tell me I look funny. Just say something so that we can engage a little bit more. We have some news and love to see what people think about some of the news week to week besides us.
Or Otto's favorite introductory emote for my streams, Resident Sleeper.
Resident Sleeper. I'd be more than happy to see a Resident Sleeper. So yeah, and that was the second piece. Just keep supporting us. It's always nice. It's always nice to have some support while we do this. Spoon and I, we like chatting, obviously, but we just like doing this stuff. It's a nice change of pace from week to week, and especially on days like today where I woke up at like 6:45 to do work. God, I'm so glad not to be doing work right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's like
get a little break.
Day. Yeah, it's just all day. I mean, I had a hour-long break during the day. Not to go down the rabbit hole on it, but Kate and I were just exploring apartments in the area locally, not with the intention of moving out like right now, but with like the eye on the horizon kind of thing, just looking around locally where we're at and seeing what's available here. So I got that was my hour break today, was doing that. So yeah, anyway, Spoon, any other stuff from you for an intro, or do you want to just get right down to the news?
I guess I'll just. This isn't game news, but it is news. Let me make sure I get our name right. Well, Judge Jackson was appointed to the Supreme Court today, officially.
Okay.
So that was pretty exciting.
It would have been shocking if she wasn't.
Yeah,
it's just true. Like, do people get rejected nowadays from that? I mean,
if the Senate was Republican majority, I'm sure she would have been rejected.
Yeah, but
there were I think there were actually like 3 Republicans who crossed and actually voted for her. So
it's just like hard. Yeah, they do if you do. Oh, okay, I see. Well, there you go. I guess I just haven't heard of one recently being rejected. So I was just like, man, do people actually get rejected from that? Okay. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, just
I'm hoping there's some positive impact from that.
first black woman nominated to the Supreme Court, so that's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Other stuff?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Then let me switch overlays. I'm keep in mind, if I'm very short with things, it's because I'm tired. So if I give like a very direct response of like, yeah, okay, it's probably because I'm tired. Okay. First thing I have is Crystal Dynamics is making another Tomb Raider with Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 actually had this event a few days ago, I want to say. Was it a few days ago? Is that where this got unveiled at? There was like the state of Unreal Engine, right?
Okay, I missed it. I didn't even know that happened.
There was like something along those lines. It was like state of Unreal. Oh God, I hit caps lock. Yeah. So State of Unreal 2022 was 2 days ago, and this is when this got revealed. They were talking about just Unreal Engine 5 and what games and projects are being used with it, which, I mean, it's just, yeah, that was the whole point of it. And I think Crystal Dynamics showed off that Tomb Raider, a new Tomb Raider is going to be made with Unreal Engine 5. So, I haven't played the last Tomb Raider. I didn't hear thrilling reviews of that game. It seemed like a downturn from the previous two iterations that were made.
The third one, yeah, I played the third one. I didn't like it nearly as much as the first two.
That's you mentioned that, and I think just general reception was about the same. It was like, yeah, it's fine, but not as good as the others. I haven't played the third one, but I mean, the first two, I played the first one and finished that one. I liked that one a lot. I actually never finished the second one, but I did play through a portion of it. I enjoyed that. Spoon, you played through all three completely, I think, right?
Yep.
New Tomb Raider game in Unreal Engine 5. Let's just focus on new Tomb Raider game. Are you excited about it? Or are you lukewarm on it? Let's just start there, and then we'll go to the Unreal Engine 5 part of it.
Yeah, probably lukewarm on it. Like, I did like the remake Tomb Raider games for. I mean, they're not really remakes, but rebooted Tomb Raider games is a better phrase for it. But I did like them, but yeah, I mean, they got a little. Maybe the problem was the third one. It's just like it's just more of the same. It was like too similar to the other two. Though they focused on I feel like I remember they focused heavily on the stealth in the third one.
Oh man.
And it was just like kind of boring. There weren't a lot of gunfights like in the first two.
Right.
And while I don't want to do that all the time, it was a part of the game that was pretty fun. And yeah. I would rather like do stealth when I want to do stealth and fight when I want to fight, as opposed to being forced into doing stealth and stuff like that.
The nice part about the first game for me was like the balance between traversing some place, doing puzzles, going into a fight, doing some stealth, and doing that cycle. Like, yeah, it was like three things, but it was nice to have those three things kind of like rotate.
Yeah, and I think again it's been a while, so I don't really remember, but I think the balance of that was off in the third game, and that's what made the first two like good. There was good exploration, good movement and traversal, climbing, that kind of stuff. Tomb exploring and puzzles, combat and stealth.
Yeah,
so
it's like. Yeah, it's a nice rotation of like 3 to 4 things. And yeah, just like trying to focus on one of them. I don't know. For like a bigger game like that, like I think with small games being so heavily focused is fine, but for a game like that, like doing just like stealth for the whole game, like can you imagine Assassin's Creed just being stealth? Like, Assassin's Creed already has some other issues. But, like, could you imagine that game like Assassin's Creed 2 and it's just literally all stealth, you'd probably be bored.
If you
actually.
get caught, you just auto lose.
You just
It's
auto
like,
lose.
game over, reload.
You just stealth. It's like, okay, that works for like smaller things. But like changing Assassin's Creed 2, for example, from what it was, which was a nice balance of parkour, stealth, and combat.
And
That's
open world exploration type
like
stuff.
3 to 4 things.
Collectibles and you know other things you could do.
Yeah, like 3 to 4 things there, right? So it's like a nice balance of like, okay, well, I can do all these various things. Imagine if it was just like 2 of those things.
Yeah,
it's like,
and you didn't really have to do stealth if you didn't. There might have been a few missions here and there that required you to do some stealth, but generally it's pretty open. If you just want to bum rush the front gate and just fight everybody, you can do that. It's hard, but you can do it.
Yeah, you could, but you're incentivized to try and stealth at least a little bit.
Yeah,
right.
Of course.
If you're trying to do challenges too, you have to stealth. In some cases, and even like again, like Black Flag, wonderful. I'm only using Assassin's Creed because like Assassin's Creed has stealth, and to me, actually, Tomb Raider had some like, you know, little bit here and there with that, with similarities in that, like any other game that has like those stealth mechanics, right?
It definitely, Tomb Raider definitely took some cues from Assassin's Creed. That's for sure. It's a different game, but it took some ideas.
Like the reason I think I liked Black Flag so much was you had naval, and naval was like a beautiful addition to the rotation of things to do. So now you had parkour in the cities, world exploration, naval was like a completely different circle over here. That was like one thing where you could do all sorts of things with naval and ground. And it was like probably the reason why I think people got attached to it and were like, oh, what an amazing addition to this franchise. Adding another circle to this series. So that's like, that was like kind of, I think, a way you could change up the game without actually like diverting completely to a different direction. Is you just add some aspect to it that wasn't previously there that could possibly be like a new circle on that like board. So it doesn't seem like Shadow of Tomb Raider did that, but if you wanted to change a formula, which if they wanted to do a new game, they need to add a new circle or something like that. You need a circle. You can't just have your one. You had your one circle, but after a while, like that can become stale. Like you need to do a little bit more. Again, like smaller series, like very niche series, like very specific stuff. Yeah, you can just stay with your same formula with like a different story and all that, and some small additions. But
usually, like even some of those, if you're talking about like, you know, JRPGs, an example is like long running series, they usually they don't make huge changes, but they'll make adjustments like in each game. Like the Tales series, for example, I mean, they use similar battle systems that they're all like action combat systems, but they're all different. Like they take a little tweak to each of them.
Right. But the formula is relatively the same.
Yes.
Relatively speaking, the same. Right. But like with Assassin's Creed, the formula was very similar from Black Flag to the other ones. But having naval combat was like enough of a departure where you had not a complete change of the formula, but you had a new set of variables in the formula that like transformed it into something that was like, wow, this is very interesting. The formula is transformed. We have more variables now, and that makes the outcome more interesting, as opposed to going from like one of the other Assassin's Creed games like Black Flag and then you go to like Unity or Syndicate and you're just like, wow, you took the circle away. Why do I care now? You've removed things from the circle. Well, why is this better? So
also Unity was a buggy piece of crap.
Syndicate wasn't, and Syndicate was like, I think somebody figured out pretty quick. It's like, oh, we're not changing the formula enough. So
Syndicate felt like it was actually much better than Unity, but people were just like worn out after Unity, and I feel like Syndicate just didn't do well, and they're like, okay.
You get tired of it. You're just like, okay. It's the same thing how I feel about Valhalla. It's like, okay, Odyssey was fine. Valhalla comes out. Okay, it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of the same with some tweaks.
And you said like England was boring.
England is boring.
To explore.
England is very boring. There's no naval combat. You're on a longboat, which there shouldn't be naval combat, frankly, in like a large degree. But your longboat is literally just to go from A to B. In Odyssey, you actually fought on your boat, other boats. Like in the combat was not like, there's no cannons or anything. You just like you have like arrows and fire arrows and all. But it's like, okay, you get some naval combat in there. It was fine, and like, that location for Odyssey, that Greece, is just so much more interesting than London, England. I think they did a good job though with certain parts of like, you have Norway. Norway's nice, like the snowy mountain regions were always nice, but England isn't like pretty in the game, so you're just like, okay, well, this is just like a bunch of fields. But with Odyssey, you had so much, like, you had so many levels. Valhalla, you're like, okay, I'm still in a plane. I'm still in the plains. I just walked up a hill a little bit. So it's different. But Tomb Raider, I think, needs another circle. They need more variables in the formula.
I mean, it's been a while at this point, so maybe people will be happy to see it back in if it's more of the same. But yeah, I don't know what it was about Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Again, maybe it was the over-reliance on stealth that bugged me, but I don't know. When I played it, it was just very meh. There was nothing. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's pretty fine. It's more Tomb Raider, but there was just nothing about it that was great to me. It was just kind of whatever. So we'll see what they do with this one with Unreal Engine 5 as well. So
yeah, Unreal Engine 5, I think there was some showcasing of Unreal Engine 5 with there was like a Matrix project that used Unreal Engine 5
yeah,
for
that was a tech demo thing.
Yeah, it was a tech demo, but it looked really nice when I saw it. So I mean, we're never going to get a standardized engine that everyone's going to use, right? That's never going to happen.
More and more people seem to be just kind of using Unreal at this point, though.
Yeah, they're starting to just use a more supported engine as opposed to going with their own, because they're probably realizing that, wow, this is a pretty heavy cost to try and have this massive undertaking of making a new engine when things get updated, whereas you have a dedicated team at, in this case, Epic, working on Unreal Engine just like all the time. That's all they do. So whereas you're having to like invest in your own teams to do that, it's just like, okay, is that worth it? Like, should we just pay the 5% royalty or whatever it is? Yeah, it's just I think certain groups are just like, well, unless we're EA or one of the other publishers that uses their own freaking engine, EA is just like, oh, we're going to use our engine because we don't want to pay the 10%.
Yep.
But I don't know. And Unreal Engine 5 sounds exciting. I do hope that more groups just start using a more standardized engine.
Yep.
That way we don't have a reliance on engines that just somebody tries to use for 10 years. Like Unreal Engine 5 is going to get updated frequently. So,
yep.
Yeah, I think it's positive. Anyway, we have another Unreal Engine, or not, I'm sorry, not Unreal Engine thing. Another reboot, I don't know what to even call this, but we will remake the iconic Max Payne and Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne, in a new development agreement with Rockstar Games. So this is Remedy Entertainment is developing these, and Rockstar obviously is publishing in this case. I never played Max Payne.
I didn't either.
I mean, I know Max Payne is a recognized title. I'm fairly certain there are plenty of people that are excited about this.
Yeah, I think these games were pretty well liked. There was one point where I thought about playing them. I didn't, but yeah, these games are generally pretty well liked. I'm not sure if it's the gameplay or the story or a combination of both or what it was about these games that people liked, but yeah, generally these games are well liked. So I think it's probably good for a lot of people who did like these games to see them remade.
Yeah, I think that goes without saying.
And they are pretty old. They are like PS2 games. So
yeah, they're
old.
20 plus years old.
They're like 20-ish years old. Yeah.
That's definitely going to be an upgrade for sure in the graphical department, and hopefully some other quality of life adjustments. I'm sure some of those games, the problem with some of those games back then is they're dated sometimes with their actual gameplay, so I'm sure that's going to get updated if that's one of the cases. But yeah, I mean, that's cool. It's cool. I'm just surprised Rockstar's publishing anything besides GTA stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they're just publishing it, they're not doing shit.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Next thing. Oh, I see. Bree's here. Hello, Bree.
Yep.
Square Enix trademarks Tactics Ogre Reborn. This is another thing I never played, but I think you might have. Have you played this?
I've played a little bit of Tactics Ogre. Yeah.
Okay, so Tactics Ogre Reborn. I'm guessing reboot, not remake.
Yes. I assume it's supposed to be some sort of reboot or remake. I mean, they already said the last Tactics Ogre game was on the PSP, and it was a remake of. I think it was a remake of the first one, but it was a remake of one of the older games.
Oh God, yeah, I'm looking at this.
Tactics Ogre. Let Us Cling Together was the last one that came
out. What is that name? Let Us Cling Together might be the most anime JRPG name I've ever heard. Oh, that's good. Knight of Lotus, Prince of Zenobia. Okay. Person of
yeah, the only ones that I've played, and I never finished any of them, to be honest, were Knight of Lotus and the Let Us Cling Together remake. Okay. I played both of them a little bit.
Got it. Okay, because the Knight of Lotus is a GBA game, it looks like in here, right? Okay, makes sense. Okay, well, this is okay. Based on the name, Tactics, I'm guessing we're looking at something along the lines of something like a triangle strategy kind of game.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
It has class customization and your it's more similar to Final Fantasy Tactics / Triangle. Triangle Strategy is kind of its own thing, but it's more similar to that than it is to Fire Emblem.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, class customization, your units facing that's one thing about the Triangle Strategy and Final Fantasy Tactics. The direction your unit faces matters and hitting things in the back is part of the game. So, but yeah, I mean it's another old school tactical RPG. I guess they're looking to reboot it. So we'll see what they do with it.
Sure. Okay. Next thing. Oh dear. Okay. I'm guessing you didn't read this one. I skimmed it. Lego and Epic are teaming up to build a place in the metaverse for kids to play. The concept of metaverse being a place where you can access virtually various things that you could access in real life. That would be I go on my VR headset and go to the store kind of thing. Going to a virtual Target using my headset. Okay, so that's the concept. Okay, so the Lego Group and Epic are partnering so that Epic's going to make this, I imagine, and Lego's going to allow them to use the brand.
Yeah, use the Lego brand.
Yep. And here's what it sounds like to me. This sounds like somebody said, let's take the concept of Minecraft, but quite literally partner with Legos and do something with that in VR. But specifically for kids. And it sounds like that's the concept to me that they would be going for.
Okay.
So, like, for example, kids enjoy playing in digital and physical worlds and move seamlessly between the two. We believe there is a huge potential for them to develop lifelong skills such as creativity, collaboration, and communication through digital experiences. So that's just part of the quote. Okay. And then for Tim Sweeney, the LEGO Group has captivated the imagination of children and adults through creative play for nearly a century. We're excited to come together to build a space in the metaverse that's fun, entertaining, and made for kids and families. Okay. I'm just going to finish out some of this quote. As the metaverse evolves, it is reshaping how people meet, play, work, learn, and interact in a virtual 3D world. The LEGO Group and Epic Games will combine their extensive experience to ensure that this next iteration of the internet is designed from the outset with the well-being of kids in mind. And there's more of the quote. I'm not going to go with the rest of it, though. Because it's basically just Tim Sweeney, you know, pleasuring himself with how amazing Epic Games has been recently. So, okay. I have an opinion on this more than anything. The metaverse as a concept has been extremely, like, scary to me. Because everybody, the first thing they think of is, like, with the NFT crowd. They're like, how can we exploit somebody? Kind of thing. This is what I get scared of. Metaverse is a scary concept for me because of this. Like, I think a lot of people, they hear metaverse and they're like, okay, how do we exploit it for cash? This to me does not sound like a cash exploit. It could be. It could be.
They'll probably find a way to make it that way, at least in some capacity.
It could be. To me, at least, and I'm not like a Lego nut in the way that I follow everything Lego does. I have Legos, and I enjoy them a lot as an adult, and I did as a kid. Lego to me is not one of those, like, yes, Legos are expensive to buy, but they're not one of those scumbag organizations that I would picture. Let's just like abuse and like exploit kids. That's not really what I imagine. So I have a really hard time believing this is that. I think something that the metaverse can be good for, which in most cases I'm going to say is doubtful, is possible education. And this possibly could be an educational outlet where you can have like interactions and building a la like a Minecraft, but more contained. Like Minecraft is not contained. Like there's just like Minecraft is such an open experience from all different angles. Like you could have a more contained Minecraft experience. And this sounds like it could be that. I kind of hope it is. Like,
sure.
The problem is metaverse has been advertised so poorly in the fact that everybody's trying to exploit it. Like we saw, like there was this one like Walmart metaverse thing that leaked, and it looked stupid and ridiculous, and it was really poorly advertised. It's just like that kind of stuff makes no sense to me. Like going to a bar in the metaverse sounds like one of the dumbest things in existence to me. It's just like, really? Like you're taking all the reasons you're going to the bar and ruining it.
I can't get drunk in the metaverse, guys.
Can't get drunk on the metaverse. It's just like, come on. If I want to do this, I'm going to go to the bar. You know, that kind of stuff. Like that, I think to me has been really poorly advertised because they're like, yeah, what if you could shop on Walmart in the metaverse? And I'm like, if I'm going to go to Walmart to shop, I'm going to go to Walmart to shop.
Yep. I
mean, I'll order online from Walmart because it's also easier than trying to put on my VR headset. Like I'm not going to shop it with a VR headset. It sounds like more of a hassle than just clicking a mouse a few times.
Just going to walmart.com and
exactly
finding the thing you want.
This to me could possibly have some potential. Like there's some nice interactive elements to Legos in a VR headset. I don't know. Like I'm more on board with this than most metaverse stuff, but that's really not saying much. That's like me comparing a nice sandwich that I bought at a Safeway to a dog turd that I picked up from Stella. It's like, well, obviously the sandwich is more appealing to me. Most of these other metaverse projects look like dog turds. So,
Yeah. Because they're designed to exploit people in one way or then another, whether it be NFTs or otherwise.
Or somebody who's far out of the loop and not engaged with this kind of thing is making the choice on it. Yeah. I don't want to make like a boomer kind of comment on it, but like just out of touch, like you really think people are going to want to metaverse shop at Walmart kind of stuff. Like,
yeah,
no. So I'm I don't know. I talked for a while there. Sorry, Spoon. I know you might not be necessarily ear to the ground on the metaverse, but maybe just generally the comments that you've heard from here, just
NFT on aisle 5.
Yeah, NFTs are dying, by the way. NFTs are definitely dying, and thank Christ for that. I was watching a streamer today, and somebody's like, I bought your NFT, and the response from the streamer was like, ha ha ha, get scammed. And I'm like, holy crap, dude. Wow. I was like, okay. Just like,
yep.
Get baited. It's like,
if you didn't think NFTs were a scam yet, there's proof for you right there. Ha ha ha, like, get scammed.
He's like, haha, get baited. It's like, oh my god. Which is true too. Like, there's other sites now for NFTs from streamers, and they're just so stupid. They're just all stupid. They're not even creative or funny. They're just dumb. But anyway. Spoon? Legos, Epic Game Store, Fortnite.
I mean, yeah, if it's what you're saying, where it's just like Lego Minecraft in like a maybe more of a shared world thing where kids can just play around and build shit and interact, that sounds pretty cool. If well, there'll probably be here's what I'm like, there'll probably be something where you could like buy Lego sets in the thing and have them delivered to your house or something like that, which
okay,
I mean, I guess
it's like build it here, buy it in the real world.
Yeah, that would be interesting actually. It's like, yeah, you could build it in the virtual world and then like buy it and build it in real life. That's an
interesting application.
That is an interesting application. And it's not the worst idea. It's not NFTs, it's not super exploitative, but also like, yeah, I mean, you need protections from kids wildly spending on online and stuff like that, which needs to exist in something like this.
I imagine that has to exist here. Like, the Lego group has to know that is an existing thing, and they can't allow that. And Epic Games has to make sure they don't implement that. Like, here's a scary story that I think I've told before, just to tell people how like easy it is nowadays to accidentally buy things on different platforms. I had my niece, who was barely I don't think even 2 years old, pick up my PlayStation 4 controller, and I shit you not, the TV wasn't even on. She pre-ordered FIFA by pressing random buttons. I looked at my credit card and I said, why did I pre-order FIFA for $100? And she pre-ordered
the ultimate edition of FIFA.
She pre-ordered the ultimate edition of FIFA somehow by pressing buttons. So, like, really, like, this has to have heavy protection on it. So I did get refunded for that, thank God. And it was so funny too, because my sister's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'll pay you back for it." I was like, I don't care, I'll just get a refund. But I'm more upset that Sony and all these systems have a way for a freaking 2-year-old to press buttons on a controller, and I immediately am down $100.
Literally, like, face roll on the controller, and you could purchase
and I'm
FIFA.
just like, wow. Like, I had my PayPal connected to it, so I guess that was a problem, but I was like, wow, that was incredible. So, like, really, I mean, like, your comment, it could be scary. Like, a kid could accidentally just, like, hit the headset, and bam, they just spent $100. Not even Elden Ring? No. I was just like, wow, you pre-ordered the next FIFA Ultimate Edition. Not just any edition, the Ultimate Edition. Okay.
Well, probably because the first thing you can get when you click on FIFA is, like, the Ultimate Edition. You have to, like, go through 2 more menus in order to get to the Standard Edition, because they want you to buy the Ultimate Edition.
You gotta go through 2 menus and get kicked in the nuts, and then you can get the Ultimate Edition.
And then you can get the Standard Edition.
Then you can get it. You have the privilege of getting the Standard Edition after all that. Anyway, any other thoughts on Lego
No, yeah.
and Epic?
I think it's an interesting idea. It could be cool. It could work out. It also could be exploitative bullcrap, and we'll just have to see like what comes out of it, basically.
I agree with you. I agree with you. 1 second. All right. Next thingamajig. Activision makes 1,100 game testers full-time employees. Here's my first comment before going into the article. Do you think Microsoft came in and said, hey, buddy, you want to do the right thing now? Do you think that happened? Do you think
Yeah.
What's his name? Paul? Whatever his name is.
Phil.
Phil,
Spencer.
that's it. Phil Paul Spencer. Do you think he walked in and sat down with Bobby and he said, are you going to do the right thing or are you going to make me have you do the right thing? And then Bobby started kind of like doing this and sweating. He's like, oh, God. All right, fine. Fine, I'll stop being an asshole for like 2 seconds. Because this is great. The without going through the entire article, the best thing about this is, number one, all those workers, the minimum salary for these workers is $20 an hour. But here's the bigger benefit. They get full company benefits, eligible for full company benefits. And Activision is a big company. So those benefits are probably good.
I mean, that's probably the biggest reason that a lot of companies, not just in QA, but a lot of other industries too, use the independent contractor thing. So they don't have to give benefits because that's expensive.
Yeah.
Like healthcare, like 401k, like retirement benefits, healthcare. I don't know. There's other stuff I can't think of right now, but yeah, those are two of the big things. Like
companies, there's a reason why Uber, DoorDash, and Lyft paid hundreds of millions of dollars to keep their drivers as contractors.
Independent contractors, and that
why.
stupid ass bill.
There's a reason why. They will not do something like that for like your software developer type employee that's like actually working on the product. They don't necessarily want contractors for that internally. But if it's like something like, oh, it's just QA, yeah, of course they're gonna be like, yeah, let's make them contractors. They're QA.
QA is really disposable.
Yeah, that's like probably the thinking for them. In having benefits, having full company benefits for those QA folks is like some jerk face who has like a Mercedes-Benz that I hope a bird poops on today, said, hey, it's really expensive to give these people benefits and they're pretty disposable, so let's not give them benefits. And I'm glad that they have given them benefits now. That's a huge deal. And they're now full-time staffers. It's great. Hopefully they'll have more protections on their work schedules. Another thing that you had firsthand experiences with is the working schedule of contract QA folks is horrible. And I do hope some of that changes.
There's always going to be crunch in
right
in the gaming industry and QA especially. It's just the thing about it is you can have 50, 100 testers on a game. Say it's a big release, and say you have like 50, 100, maybe at most a couple hundred testers on it.
Mm-hmm.
Within like, again, you'd have to do the math on it, but within like a day, there's been more hours put in. Like the first day the game comes out, there's been more hours put in the game than all the hours combined of QA that you've done, because of how many people are playing the game as opposed to how many testers you have.
Yeah, like a Call of Duty for sure is like that.
Like when sometimes games come out and people are like, did they even QA this thing? It's like, yeah, they did. It's just like QA can't catch everything because they just don't have enough time.
Right.
2, sometimes the developer just says, we're not going to fix that.
Right.
They just say like, yeah, that's not important enough for us to fix. Like, we're okay with shipping the game with this. QA puts in tons of bugs, and it just comes back as, yeah, like WNF, which is will not fix. I'm not gonna fix this bug.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't have time or I don't care about this. Like, we're not fixing
it's
this
minor.
bug.
It's minor.
Yeah.
Understand it. I'm saying understandable because I'm like, I'm coming from that background of like, yeah, we have to prioritize. You got to prioritize, and like, if your game has 100 bugs, you got to prioritize the ones that have the most impact first. And all the ones that are like, there's a texture bug right here. It's like, well, fuck, that's not stopping the player from playing.
And by
this
the time
one crash is.
By the time you get to the end of a big project, like when I worked on Disney Infinity, there were like, was it 100? It was at least 50,000 bugs in the database, if not more than that. I mean, that's over a couple of years, and a lot of them were fixed by then.
Yeah.
But I think it was between 50 and 100,000 bugs in the database.
Yep. Wow.
Like
50 to 100,000. Good God. That's a lot. That is a lot. Somebody has to sit through and siphon through. Somebody has to prioritize those too.
And when you have so many testers, I'm sure there's even less developers and coders than there are testers.
Sure.
So,
Oh yeah, no. For depending on the project, well, okay, a Call of Duty has a ton of developers. Let's not even like sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
A Call of Duty's get tons of developers, I'm sure, by comparison to other projects. But like, yeah, somebody's just got to prioritize. And you know, I mean, like, there's some developers that are actually working on new updates to the game, and there are some that are fixing bugs. Like,
bugs.
That's just the reality, I'm sure. So, anyway, back to the original point of this being awesome. That they
regardless,
are finally getting benefits.
this is a very good thing. There were some tweets from Jason Schreier that expounded upon this a little bit. Apparently, I don't know much about this, but there was a group within Activision called like Raven QA testers who are actively seeking a union.
Yes.
Those people are not getting this, by the way. So.
Oh, I'm looking at this. After to recognize a union, Raven heard arguments. So Raven is not getting these benefits. No. So yeah, spokesperson said Raven workers won't receive the new pay initiatives due to legal obligations under the National Labor Relations Act. Whether Raven workers choose to unionize has nothing to do with the salary increase elsewhere for Activision's QA workers. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe it has nothing to do with it, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. He also said he thought it was unlikely that Microsoft had anything to do with this because though that is still tentative. Like, right. That has not been approved yet. Microsoft has not acquired Activision as of yet, again.
Right.
And also, to be quite honest, we've heard stories in the past about Microsoft, like, using a lot of contractors, even in, like on Halo Infinite, for example, on things that weren't QA, things that were actual like game design and development and stuff like that. So to be honest, I doubt Microsoft had anything to do with this.
Yeah, that's true. So, no, that's true. That's true. Like Microsoft using way too many, we'll say, contract workers for Halo Infinite. Using contract work for like, it's like, hey, I need somebody for 6 months, kind of thing. I think is like, that's one thing, but like Microsoft being like, let's rotate 18 months of workers so that they're basically only doing a subset of that of actual months of work because they have to learn everything the first like month or so, just like actually learning everything that goes on.
See what's actually been done in the thing and how the code works for this whatever game they're working on.
Yeah, it's got to be like, I mean, for a more seasoned person, it's faster, but like, I don't know, like even just getting everything set up will take a day. Getting into the code base and reading everything might take a week. And like, once you're inundated on everything and understand all the, how like, even how the development is done from like a syntax perspective, like how they write their code, like that's got to be like at least 2 weeks work to just get everything set up, and then you can start doing things. It's just like, I imagine that's how it goes.
Yeah, QA is much easier to
Yeah.
like honestly plug in. It's like, yeah, you could just pull someone in at any point in the project. Like, hey, we it's crunch for the like last couple months of the project. We're gonna hire a bunch of extra people for the last couple of months and just like hammer this thing out, right? So
yeah. I think it's a little bit easier to get them going and running, as opposed to
you just hand them a build and say find bugs. Like
play this for a bit. Tell us what you see, and then they do that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is definitely a good thing. Definitely a step in the right direction. The other thing, also, from what I've heard from Blizzard specifically, I don't know about Activision proper, but Blizzard specifically, they apparently don't pay or at least they didn't in the past pay very well for QA, because people were like, oh yeah, it was like a thing where they said you get the honor of working at Blizzard, so it's such great experience, so we're gonna pay you shit. So
gotta love that. It's an honor to work for us. It's also an honor to have a roof over my head.
And it looks good on your resume that you worked at Blizzard. So
it's like, okay, but that doesn't mean you get to treat me like crap. I hate that.
So yeah, I mean, $20 an hour is, I mean, I haven't worked in QA for 7-8 years, but by the end of me working in QA, I was making like, the last job I had, I think I was making like 13, or maybe it was 13.50. I don't remember.
20 is good. Problem is they're in California still.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's still not enough to live in California, to be quite honest.
It's really like, okay, like,
but it's a
full time. You could get an apartment with somebody, kind of thing.
Yeah, couple of roommates maybe, but yeah, I mean, it's not ideal yet, but it is definitely a step in the right direction. We'll say that.
No, 20. I think 20 is good, like compared to before. Like 20 is good. It's just like in California in particular, things are just completely screwed up. So
yeah,
that's just like, if this was in like any other state, frankly, we'd be looking at this like $20 and be like, yeah, it's amazing. But because it's California, you're like, oh, $20, yeah, you can get a roommate and probably get a 2-bedroom apartment.
a 1 bedroom.
You might be able to get a 1-bedroom apartment. No,
yeah.
In certain places you just wouldn't. You just can't. Like, if you do, like, if we actually did some math on that, 40 times $20 an hour multiplied by 4 again, that's $3,200. I can give you the exact price in where I'm located of a 1-bedroom apartment, and it's $2,000 a month.
You're paying like
that.
Paying like 2/3 of your income just for your rent.
And most places won't even let you do that. Then they will like actually have a requirement on their contract. They'll say if you're not making 2.5 times the rent, you can't. They just won't even accept you.
We won't rent to you. Yeah.
And you're being taxed, so taxes. You get your tax and some of that. And like there's utilities, obviously the apartment, like you're paying like probably because the apartments that I've seen, but like some apartments they won't cover utilities and all that. You cover it, so yeah. You're the whole point is $20 an hour to a single person in California is like, it's basically like, yeah, you're almost there. And then the person's like, you're almost there.
Well, like yeah, if you doubled that, maybe
they're like, damn, I guess you're gonna need a second job.
If you made $40 an hour. It's
like, damn, that 8 to 9 hours of work just isn't enough. You're gonna need a second job. And he's like, okay. And then
California is a really nice place to live if you have the money for it. But
if you're
housing is absurdly expensive here. It's so stupid.
If you're a certain bucket of people, you love it here. For example, if you're like a doctor, you love it here. If you're a lawyer, you love it here. If you're a software engineer,
yeah, and
or
a
like
big tech,
somebody working
tech company,
somebody who's got a decent position at a tech company, you're like, you love it here. This is like the best place ever because you're getting paid probably more than you're worth.
Yeah, if you're making six digits plus, you love California.
Yeah, like basically, yeah, again, like software engineers, unless you're like entry level, you're guaranteed more than 100. Like you're guaranteed that. Like people will go out of their way, give you a massage with a happy ending to to get you in their company because they're desperate for you, and like they'll pay you so much. It's stupid how much they'll pay you to do the work, and I'm just like, man, what the frick? And not to say that they don't have like the skills for it or anything that they may like, but like it's a lot. Yeah, if you're in the tech world,
California is a win more state. If you're already winning, you can live in California and win more because like California's it's a nice place to live. Like
California is the place where if you have won enough to buy a house, you're good, because that house is going to accrue so much value over time. It's like if you stay in that house for like 5 years, your house has probably gone up like 50% in value.
Yeah, my parents' house, which I'm in right now, which they bought in I think the 80s.
Yeah.
For like, I think it's like maybe 200K.
Yeah, no,
and then they put like another couple $100,000, I think, into renovating it. Yep. But this house is easily worth $2.5 to $3 million.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. So like, if you've bought a house here, you're good. You just sit on it for 5 years, and then just do whatever. I had somebody. My mom was telling me about somebody who was in Sunnyvale, which is very close by to where I am. And the person that bought their house sat on it for 5 years, and it went up by 50% basically. It went from like 1 point something million to like almost 2 million. And I know it sounds like 100% increase, but it was more like 50. I just don't know the exact numbers, the 50% increase. And then they turned around and they're like, well, I guess I'm just going to go buy a house somewhere else. And they bought a house that was like $1 million somewhere else near the ocean, and now they're just sitting on like $900,000 of profit that they just got because they sat on their house for 5 years or something stupid. If you lived in Palo Alto in 1985 or something like that, and you bought the house there for like a couple $100,000, your house is now worth like $5 to $10 million.
Wow.
So that's what happened. Is your housing market is a mess. Like apartments here, if you want a 1-bedroom, you kind of have to be like either like in a relationship with somebody while in that 1-bedroom, or you are making a good salary. You need to be making probably $35 to $40 an hour in your job.
So you need to make at least like 50 to 60K a year, probably, if not so like more than that.
I'm trying to think about what the actual number is, but like if you made 35, oh, actually it's more like 30. If you made 30 to 35, you could get a 1-bedroom here. $35 an hour. Like
by
think
yourself.
About that. Yeah, think about that. Think about that. Like if you're, and like now by.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, no, you're taking a salary by that point, but that's my point. Is like the equivalent would be that, like you're making like $5,000 to $6,000 a month, which is about $60,000 to $72,000 a year, and most jobs that make that amount are not the QA tester.
No, QA tester like never make that much.
Right. So this is your fundamental problem in California. Your fundamental problem is the person that works a 9 to 5 at a QA job is a reasonable job. You're making $20 an hour. You can't afford to even live by yourself in an apartment. You got to get roommates, or you got to get a second job. And that's the problem. Whereas
second job with QA, to be honest, probably isn't that viable, because sometimes they take overtime and they do extra hours and stuff.
You can't do that. You got to do something else. You got to go like work at a Starbucks or something for a few hours or something like that. I don't know. Whatever it is. It's just like, it's really bad. Or you got to go do like, I don't know, something else like that you can afford to do part-time. You can go deliver food with DoorDash, and
or drive for Uber.
You can drive for Uber or DoorDash or Lyft or something like that, and you can get exploited by them instead. It's just,
it's messed up.
California's bad. In other places, you make $20 an hour, you're fine.
I mean,
perfectly fine.
You're still getting exploited, but
of course you are.
You're better off in terms of being able to afford like a place to live.
Of course, you're getting exploited. We have people who are flying to space while their workers are peeing in bottles. Like, it's just like, okay. Okay. Maybe don't advertise you're going to space. Maybe just keep that to yourself. Because you got people who are working for you and are contracting with you peeing in bottles. Like, just... Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, any other stuff?
Nope. Again, this is good. It's a step in the right direction. We'll see if any other companies decide to do something like this with QA.
I hope
Kind of surprising that Activision is like,
yeah, really, right?
one of the first. I mean, if you work for a game developer, like a developer and not a publisher, you might actually have like a full-time job with
that's an
developer.
actual position.
That's different. The vast majority of QA jobs are with the publisher.
Yeah.
Activision, Ubi, Disney doesn't really make full-on games
EA.
anymore. But Disney, EA.
EA does that.
All the big ones.
Whatever
so.
Ubisoft probably does.
Square Enix,
all of them. Yeah, all those big guys.
Yep, all of them.
All the big fish. Anyway, all right, let me go back over here.